Hey, it's Sunil Ramlall, and this is a video on negotiation strategies. So, what is negotiation? What are some of the effective ways in which we go out negotiating every day? Well, negotiation is something that everyone does almost daily. Negotiation basically occur for several reasons. One, to agree on how to share or divide a limited resource. Second, to create something new that neither party could attain on his or her own. And third, to resolve a problem or dispute between the parties. Most people think bargaining and negotiation be the same thing. However, we will be distinctive about the way we use these two words. Bargaining describes a competitive win lose situation. We see this quite a bit in the unions and management where there is a big negotiation trying bargaining as to who gets what. And uh, quite frequently, some lose and some win. Negotiation, on the other hand, refers to a win win situation such as those that occur when parties try to find a mutually acceptable solution to some complex conflict. It's not about win lose, but trying to find a mutually beneficial outcome for everyone. We look at three important themes: the definition of negotiation and the basic characteristics of negotiation situation. Second, interdependence, basically the relationship between people and groups that most often leads them to negotiate. And then third, understanding the dynamics of conflict and conflict management processes would serve as a backdrop for different ways that people approach and manage negotiations. Importantly, here are some characteristics of a negotiation situation. Typically, there are two or more parties, unless you're negotiating with yourself. Actually, that could be if you have a cognitive dissonance. Anyway, second, there is a conflict of needs and desires between two or more parties. Parties negotiate because they think they can get a better deal than by simply accepting what the other side offers them. And then third, fourth, actually, parties expect a give and take process. We fight for openly sometimes for an end result that will create benefits for everyone. Successful negotiation strategies typically involve management of tangibles, example, the price of terms of some agreement, or work condition, or wage increase. Resolution of intangibles, basically these are the underlying psychological motivations, such that I win, that I lose, and saving face. In negotiation, parties need each other to achieve their preferred outcomes or objectives. It's called a mutual dependency, interdependence, basically. Interdependent goals are an important aspect of negotiation. Alternatives that shape interdependence, basically, we can get down to evaluating interdependence, basically, depending on heavily on the alternatives to working together. Second, the desirability to work together is better for outcomes. And then looking at the what's the best available alternative. We can find dilemmas as we try to do negotiations. Two dilemmas in mutual adjustment. One is the dilemma of honesty, concern. That's a concern about how much of the truth to tell the other party. That should be a no-brainer. Dilemma of trust. What is our concern about how much should negotiators believe what the other parties tell them? There are many value claiming and value creation strategies. There will be opportunities to win or share resources. Claiming value comes down to a result of zero sum or distributive situations where the object is to gain largest piece of resource. Second, creating value, that's a result of non-zero sum or integrative situation where the object is have both parties do well. So you come to the table, you negotiate, you're trying to a manager and employee, and you want both individuals to do well. Could conflict arise as a result of negotiation? And absolutely. Conflict may be defined as a sharp disagreement or opposition and includes a perceived divergence of interests or a belief that the party's current aspiration cannot be achieved simultaneously. So you have two parties negotiating, and there's this belief that one cannot be achieved, or both cannot be achieved simultaneously, and one has to give, and one is going to win, and the other is going to lose. And this potentially could cause a conflict. What are some levels of conflict that could be created? One is the interpersonal or the intrapsychic conflict. Basically, it's a conflict within an individual. We want an ice cream cone badly, but we know that ice cream is very fattening. That has never happened to any of us. But just in case, any dessert. The second is interpersonal conflict. It's a conflict is between individuals or among individuals. Conflict between bosses and employees, spouses, siblings, roommates, etc. There are potential positive outcomes that can be derived from conflicts, but most conflicts tend to be dysfunctional. Dysfunctions of conflict can include competitive win lose goals. There could be a misperception and bias. Emotions can flare, decreased communication, blurred issues, rigid commitments, and not being open to different perspectives. Magnify differences, minimize similarities, escalation of conflict. What are some of the functions of conflict, and how can we use conflicts in organizations to actually strengthen the decision making process and the actual decision that we make? We make organization members more aware and able to cope with problems through discussion. Again, these are the functions of conflict. Promises organizational change and adaptation. Strengthens relationship and heightens morale. Actually, could happen. Promotes awareness of self and others. Enhances personal development. Encourages psychological development. It helps basically people become more accurate and realistic in their self appraisals, and could actually be stimulating and fun. Yeah, most of the time. So, what approaches do we take in the dual concerns model? We can look at concern about our outcomes or concern about others' outcomes. We could yield. We can try to do problem solving. We can compromise. That's in the middle. We could do nothing, or we could contend with whatever it is. Styles of conflict management, again, these are contending, yielding, inaction, problem solving, and five, compromising. So this provides a basic overview of what negotiation strategies are and some of the conflict that could arise. And in the end, these are situations where we're negotiating, trying to figure out what's going to be the best interest. And the perception could be lingering that one is going to gain and one is going to lose. So when negotiating comes in handy for any manager, we will come across these in a manager employee sort of situation, and understanding the various strategies is critical. Conflicts could be. Thanks for listening.